All right, the next thing I want to show you is how to deal with custom grids. So, we've already kind of discovered it's pretty easy to create a grid. So the next thing is, what if you have something different? Say just anything that is just off at an angle. So it is pretty easy. I mean, the thing that you would want to kind of establish is kind of where are you getting the actual angle from? Is it from kind of a dimension such as that, and say another dimension such as here? And so that becomes kind of very specific points that you would need. And as you move this, once you have that kind of locked in, it is locked in. I can move with my my arrow keys and change that. But that is about it. So, essentially you'd probably want to kind of draw that angle first before you kind of placed it. But you can also have grids that are different shapes. So, say an arc. So then it'll create that. So this is how, essentially what we use a grid for is so we can actually place columns at the intersections. It could be that you skip an intersection, you create this kind of large volume. It all depends on the design, but at each of these grid points, it is by default they would have a column. And so we would reference, the A2 column as A2. And that helps you communicate to your contractor and to anybody else that's working on the project, kind of identifying the location of maybe something that needs to be discussed or something that needs to be troubleshooted. All right, so that is just to show you how to do that. The other things that you might need to know is, well, how do I change location if I need to change this grid? There's a couple ways to do it. Obviously, we can kind of use the click and drag method and pay attention to dimension as it changes. The other way is to click on the dimension and then put in a specific parameter. So say 24 feet. And you can see that it moves. If you need to be more specific, we go with 24 with the one quote, and then say 6 inches. Then you put in the double quote, and that'll be the inches. That's just the way that we think of things in the feet and inches world. The other thing that you can do is you can use the space bar to denote the difference between feet and inches. And so you can actually not put the quotes at all. That space means that I just went from feet to inches, so it'll kind of automatically get in there. So those are some things that are handy as you're moving things around or copying them. If you want to know, if you're somebody who's a visual, kind of wants to do everything visually, the copy command is up here, and that is and you'll notice also as I'm rolling over that command is that some of them actually have these nice little videos that really kind of walk you through how that command works. So if you're curious, you can just sit and watch a few of these things and see what they're doing and how they're doing it. So, with rotate, it's moving the anchor point, and then it's using the mouse to rotate. So one of the last things that we'll want to do with the grid is to put dimension strings on it. We will only use this for this assignment, but just so we know that and verify that you've placed your grid where they should be. Just remember that my grid is not the same as your grid. So what I'm doing right now is something that you may have different numbers here. So what alls I've done is I've grabbed this dimension tool on the aligned, and then I am clicking on 1 to begin. See how it turns blue? That means that it's being selected, and it's gonna add that dimension string to it. And then I'm clicking through the others, and then to finish the dimension string, you just decide where it's going to be located and then click one more time. So again, you'll want to do this for to turn this assignment in and make sure they're legible. One of the other things that we will be doing is we'll be changing our dimensions to well, we'll see. I will let you know. I think we're going to go with 1/4 of an inch equals a foot, if we can get away with it. One of the things that you'll note as I change this is that you can see kind of immediately the power of a BIM model, because everything changed scale according to whatever scale I choose over here. So even though everything kind of remained in the same location, the way that the numbers and the dimension strings, the grid size bubbles, they all changed to be appropriate for that printing size. So that is awesome. I think that's it. All right.